All right. So I know you are a very busy woman, so I'll jump right into these, but I'm super excited to have this conversation with you.
All right, thank you.
So, to start off, the mission of Central Community House is to empower people to reach their full potential, to be self supporting, and to live cooperatively with all others. Could you talk just a little bit about your history supporting Central Community House and other organizations like ours?
Well, first, let me just say how fortunate we are to have a settlement house like the community house right in the heart of my district, and it serves so much of the east side, whether that's south or north, how you all reach out to families. And I'm honored to say that I've had a long history of supporting your mission and supporting the mission of the settlement houses in this wonderful community that we live in. I actually have a social worker on my team, an outreach director right here in my district office. And we frequently sit around the table and we talk about, thank goodness for the services that we have at the Central Community House, because it makes a difference in the lives of families. We have actually entered it into our mission to be very supportive of the same initiatives that you advocate for and that you serve for. One of the things that we would like to be more visible with, and that is a partnership that brings together. I know you all meet and have common dialogue and discussions, and you're familiar with the other settlement houses, but we would like to say a thank you to you. And as we go through COVID-19, we know how important and how fortunate we are that my constituents have you. I know part of our mission and your mission is we're providing more services than we've had in the past because people need our services. So I know about how you feed people. I know how you have childcare. I love when seniors come into my office and they'll say, Congresswoman, let me tell you about the Central Community House.
We
So I
love
am
our seniors, we do.
I love them right back. And I think the good thing is when I think of what your leadership, what Tammy has done over the last couple of years has taken us to a new height. And that allows me to be more engaged and to do more with our seniors, with our children, with our educational program. But right now, I am so thankful that you are COVID sensitive and that you are making it work, not only for the employees and the programs you have there, but for all of our constituents.
Well, and we just appreciate everything that you have done for our organization and organizations like ours. And just expanding on what you said about the settlement house concept, like as you know, we've been using the settlement house model since inception, which brought social services to dwell in underserved neighborhoods to address the community's needs and barriers and utilize its unique assets. So, what value do you see in the settlement house model?
Well, when you think of the whole concept of settlement houses and how it got started decades and decades ago, but when I think about your rich history, I mean, just think about what the world was like in 1936 and fast forwarding today. Let me tell you why I think there is still a greater need, because certainly we were talking about housing. Certainly we were talking about food. Certainly we were talking about how do we provide for our children and our seniors. So when I think about how far we've come in many ways, we still have the same needs. It's just a different time in our history. And because of the coronavirus, in many ways, it has set us back to the beginning, because at that time, people traveled differently because they didn't have all of the modernization of just jumping
Right.
in an Uber or calling a friend with a car. It didn't exist then. Well, we're back to that now. People are confined to their homes, people are limited in what they do. And it's a very frightening feeling to have all of the needs and to know that there is a settlement house there, but we can't come and gather up together in big crowds and do what we have done in the past because of the coronavirus. So I think our services are really of greater need right now because of this pandemic that we're in.
Right. And you do bring up a good point about how it is needed more now. And we're looking into the future just about as vaccines, more information is rolling out about those. And we recognize how the members in our community are going to need that information coming from our organizations and other settlement houses, just to know that they feel heard and they feel safe, and that the information that we're giving to them is accurate and in their best interest. So just thank you so much for
Let me
your
make a
perspective on
comment. Let me make a comment on that, Emily, because you are 100% right. And as you develop and do all of that work that you do in development, I want to say thank you to you because it is so important with what you just said about the coronavirus and where we are now and the vaccine. Education and awareness coming from a trusted settlement house will go a long way. So maybe that's one of the partnerships we can look at because
that.
we know
Absolutely.
they're saying that they're going to give the vaccine to frontline workers, those who are working in the hospitals, janitorial workers, nurses, and others. I think, and especially for the minority community, it's so important for them to have the confidence and the faith that they can trust someone. And what a wonderful venue to have the Central Ohio, the Central Community House as the place for them to learn and to trust. So thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you for saying that. That definitely is something that I want to be united with you on as we're presenting that information to everyone. And so, what advice do you have not only for Central Community House, but just for the community as we're moving forward into this upcoming year? Where we can see hope in the horizon, but we really like. What do you think that we can do as a community moving forward?
Let me start with your hope in the horizon, because I think that's very good. I think it is so important for us to have a charge, a challenge. You know, words matter and words are important, but action speaks louder than words. And so I have something that I'd like to say that we should go from agony to action.
I
Certainly,
love
we
that.
help the agony of the pandemic, the coronavirus, the economic pandemic, and the social injustice pandemic. And layered underneath all of that is 1 in 5 children going to bed hungry. We should not have that. People being evicted, people worried about losing their homes and their mortgages. So I think we have to fight harder for relief. I think as a member of the United States Congress, I have to pledge to you that I will stay in Washington and fight that we continue to have relief, not only for 2020, but for 2021, because of the surge of the virus and the number of people who are dying from this, and disproportionately so for people of color. So I think it's unity. I think the call to action is working together at all levels. And the other day, I heard someone say that we are making these changes because of grassroots efforts, because people are marching in the streets, people are asking for equity. And when you look at those visuals of people marching, which is a movement, it is not a protest. It is a movement for equal rights. It's a movement for removing all of the injustices, social and racial injustices. So it is uniting in a movement for equity for all people at all levels. And what a better place to start than with a settlement house saying they will take up that mission because it is a part of your long history of service to advocate for the people, to provide services to the people. And now we have to get elected officials, corporate America, educators, government workers, essential workers, all on board to say our charge is to come together for unity.
Those were just beautiful words that you said, and I'm really good. That agony into action is going to stick with me, and you're so right. And it's turning into, we also with the hope being in the horizon, is realizing that like we know you're not going to stop fighting for equity and this unity, and we aren't either. And these longstanding underlying issues aren't going to away overnight. They aren't going to go away as soon as these vaccines roll out, and we are going to just keep fighting together for equity. And yeah, that you could not have put it better than that.
Absolutely.
So, lastly, on a personal level,
Absolutely.
um, on a personal level, during these unprecedented times due to the pandemic, what have you been doing to maintain work-life balance?
Well, I think it's very important to be able to make sure you balance work life during the virus. And so I've been very careful. I've been making sure that I tell everyone the value and the importance of masking up. So I've tried to make something that could be not so pleasant, pleasant. I have gone out on social media and I've talked about the value of masking up. We've actually had a mask up contest. We've had people write in about how important and why they should wear masks and social distance and wash their hands. We have put up data every day to tell people how serious this is. And so for me, it's fighting for justice and fighting for the people. That's my balance. The good thing about being able to do virtual work is you can touch more people. You can talk to more people during a shorter period of time. So I have overloaded myself in participation with Zoom messages and being on virtual Zoom programs, speaking out for justice, speaking out, almost begging people to please take this virus seriously because it can affect any one of us. And so I think it's educating people and to know that people are listening because they write back. To be able to be here today with you, with the Central Community House, because you have a big footprint. And being able to say to you, take this message and share it with all of your constituents and clients, because this message is not only for them, not only for you, not only for me, but this is a message for all of us. And I think that's what keeps me going, that I take time for family, I take time for myself, but I also educate people on how to do creative things, how to write letters to your family, how to do FaceTime or Skype if you can. And I remind people to call someone who's at home and not able to get out, because it's not just about balancing my life, it's about balancing the lives of others. And sometimes a hello, a thank you, and thinking about you can go a long way. I know it makes me feel good when people call and check on me. So I try to make sure that I'm balanced by taking care of calling and trying to help others.
I love that. And I'm a big believer in just like the energy that you put out does come back to you. So just your actions of checking in on others can go such a long way, and it comes back to you and you just feel it in your heart. So I love that that's how you're taking care during these times. And yeah, I just want to thank you again on behalf of Central Community House. We are so honored to have you as our community hero for our 2020 Village Maker Awards, because it does take a village. It takes a whole community to lift each other up and get through hard times. So thank you so much for taking time out of your
Thank
busy
you.
schedule. And it was so great meeting you over
It was
Zoom.
it was my honor, and let me just say thank you to receive this 2020 Village Maker Award. It means a lot to me because when you are saluted or celebrated or honored by an organization, a settlement house like yours, it means the world because I know you understand firsthand the value of giving back. So I am humbled, I am honored, and you have just given me a new charge that I will pledge to do more. And when we get finished with or through the coronavirus period, I'm going to be one of the first to come right out to the settlement house. And so I can personally say thank you and participate again in one of your events.
Well, we look forward to seeing you there. And I look forward to seeing you in person there once we can stop masking up and have our masks down and our hearts open for each other. So thank you so much.
Way to go, Central Community House. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you have a great rest of your day and rest of your week.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.